No jail time for Cashmeousside Girl. 15 most recent pics of Danielle Bregoli. You might have better luck to cash Cashmeousside Girl aside of court these days. Unbelievably, her 15 minutes don't seem to be up yet, and the paparazzi were in full effect at Danielle Bregoli's most recent court dates, snapping away pics of the famous foul-mouthed teenager. Earlier this year, Danielle appeared in a Florida courthouse and plead not guilty to 5 juvenile felony charges. Clearly, she's been keeping busy. The charges included filing a false police report and grand theft. Along for the ride, Danielle brought her mother, Barbara Ann Bregoli, who was the victim in some of the charges, and her bodyguard. If you're not thrilled with the thought of some bratty, disrespectful kid earning tons of money and fame simply for being bratty and disrespectful, you're not alone. It's even worse than those reality celebs who are famous just for being famous, because Danielle is famous for being a first-class terror on the drive. Phil show. In an age where teen moms are worshipped and pawn store workers are glorified, Danielle has just given hope and career aspirations to all unruly teens out there. They could potentially just be an unintelligible catchphrase away from fame, fortune, and their own reality shows. Heaven help us all. 8. Busy as A.B. Bregoli. A phone for each year, how about da? Danielle's manager told TMZ that they were contacted by 7 production companies. Out of those 7, 4 were highly interested in shooting a reality show starring the tiny red-headed terror herself. And of course, her mother, who seems to be quite pleased to ride her daughter's coattails as long as this madness lasts. Currently, there's no end in sight for Danielle's fame. As long as the public enjoys her antics, Danielle will be around, as well as the big bucks to help pad her newfound lifestyle. It's a vicious cycle, and it looks like we'll be caught up in it until Hurricane Danielle and Tornado Barbara somehow lose momentum and die down. Until then, Danielle's making deals literally left and right. 9. Meet and greet Gangsta. Did you know that you, yes, you, could be so lucky as to meet this rising star? It's true. She may be all thug at heart, but she still doesn't mind having some money tossed her way for a meet and greet. In May, she was paid over $4,100 to greet guests at the Rolling Loud Music Festival in Miami. If that figure makes you want to bang your head against the wall, hold on, because the opportunities for Danielle to cash in on this train wreck situation seem to be growing by leaps and bounds. Her new felon status will likely make her only want to work that meet and greet scene faster, since it will be harder for her to get a normal job. 10. Lunch with Kim. See, I can play nice too, Danielle wrote on Instagram for this photo, followed by emojis of an angel and a black heart. She met Kim Kardashian at the Polo Lounge, where they both happened to be lunching on the same day. While this photo looks like the two are best buds, apparently Kim was taking photos with many people that day, and Danielle was introduced to her as just another fan. Danielle hasn't been shy about speaking her mind about anyone, including Kim's brother, Rob. She made a video earlier this year giving her take on the Rob and China drama, with some pretty embarrassing words for Rob. Despite her bored-looking expression, maybe Danielle really is a big Kim K fan. Kim is famous for no good reason with a reality show, and it looks like that's where Danielle's goals are, too. Shoot for the stars. 11. Guilty as charged, how about da? After initially pleading not guilty, Cashmeousside Girl finally pleaded guilty to charges of grand theft auto, possession of marijuana, and filing a false police report. She was set to be sentenced on the following court hearing, which was scheduled for July 22, but at the time of this writing, the results of the sentencing hearing could not be found, so the fate of the teen viral sensation might have gotten pushed back. Maybe the judge should have sent her back to Turnabout Ranch? That's where Drive Phil had sent her. Danielle seemed to actually thrive at the horse ranch and connected with the counselors there until she went back home to her mother, Barbara Ann. She even had a favorite horse she cared for named Chief. But it looks like the glitzy claws of L.A. Fame might be in Danielle too deep for her to turn about now. 12. Could she have survived in jail? Getting down to business, Danielle is a girl who talks a big game. Most teens talk big games. They are realizing they are no longer kids and feel a desperate need to prove their worth. But most teens don't call the drive. Fill audience prostitutes in a less polite manner. And most teens don't become felons for ridiculous charges like trying to frame their mother for drug possession by using powdered sugar. But Danielle did all of those things. She's been caught on film swinging her tiny fists in the air more than a few times, and she's also been caught on the business end of an old-fashioned hooping a few times. So could this pint-sized troublemaker have survived in jail if she had to go? Hopefully, for her sake, she would share a cell with some serious Cashmeousside fans. 13. L.A. Lifestyle. Danielle faced her charges in Florida, but she recently traded her address in the Sunshine State for one in the Golden State. Since she's in Los Angeles so much due to her demanding schedule and various business dealings, she and her momager/theft victim/fellow drive. Phil guest Barbara Ann gave up alligators and swamps for seagulls and palm trees and seemed to be enjoying quite the cushy life in L.A. They are regularly filmed and photographed, soaking up the Southern California sun, walking the posh streets of Beverly Hills, going out to eat at fancy restaurants and being treated like the big deal that they shouldn't be. It's easier to stretch out 15 minutes of fame directly from L.A. than trying to reel it in all the way from Florida. 14. Despite the serious charges, she's quite pleased with herself. She's got something to smile about. Maybe she's the kind of girl who always looks to the brighter side of things, or maybe she's just a kid with a lot of cash. She was all smiles in court for whatever reason, despite being guilty to filing a false police report. For one, Danielle will have the record of a juvenile felon, but perhaps the reason she doesn't care too much is that she's set to be a millionaire before 2017 is over. On another note, it's hard not to notice that Danielle doesn't seem too concerned with her appearance for court. Most people dress up, wear their Sunday best or at least their Monday best. Danielle rolled up to court in jeans, a tank top and sweater duster, wild hair, flip-flop sandals, and looked to be giving zero cares. 15. 14-year-old felon. If you actually watched the full episode of Drive Phil wherein Danielle Bregoli, a star, was born, you would know that the troubled teen was accused of stealing her mother, Barbara Ann's purse and car, separately, of course, as well as calling the cops and falsely accusing her mother of using heroin, which turned out to be powdered sugar that Danielle artistically sprinkled on Barbara's bathroom countertop. That all happened in 2016. Earlier this year, she was found in a car with marijuana. She also was accused of stealing the makeup artist who was assigned to Danielle's home from Drive Phil's squad, but we're assuming that the folks at the Good Doctors show cleaned that mess up in exchange for extra material on the show and the juicy ratings to follow. In June, Danielle accepted the charges, making her an official felon.